Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Um, I think today we finally got the here we go for Joao Felix coming back to Chelsea, Connor Gallagher going the other way, and I think this is one of the worst kept secrets ever that there has been. I think the expectation was this move was always going to happen, um, and at least now we know it's official. We know that he's here. This again. I don't think we went into the summer looking at Felix and saying, this is a deal we need to make. My only frustration though, it's like I think people for some reason are still not understanding that both deals were kind of linked together. Because if it wasn't, then Conor Gallagher would have not been told to come back from Spain to train by himself, which look, the argument, because I think I've spoken about this a few times with other people. The argument is why don't you just keep Conor Gallagher? And if he doesn't want to sign a contract, you wait till it basically expires and you let him leave for free. Well, that's not what the ownership wants to do. You know, I think we had the same issues when Rudiger and Christensen were never renewed. They're left on a free, and then they've gone on to have really good careers elsewhere at Real Madrid, Barcelona, respectively, and we've been struggling to replace these guys ever since. Now, again, Gallagher could have been, he could have been here, not gone to Madrid. His contract would have ran down, and he would have went to a different club, signed for free. Cool, but again, it's like they want to get their money's worth out of the guy. You got to understand, these are owners that have given him a few contract extension opportunities, and he just never really signed them. So I really don't see the outrage, and I mean, I see it, I just don't get it. And then the next question is, where's Felix going to play? Um, Wherever the manager asked him to. It's just, when you look at Real Madrid right now, when Real Madrid when they played Mallorca last night, they had Vinny, Bellingham, Rodrigo, um, Mbappe, Valverde. I don't see any and I'm not even trying to say okay, these two clubs are so much alike. That's not what I'm saying. My question is, why is it that when other teams do the same thing and they do it even to a greater degree, the question wouldn't be where is this player going to play? When Mbappe went to Madrid, again, people would have said, okay, you know what? Maybe Rodrigo is not going to be in this team. But guess what? These guys are all playing together. Why can it not just be a good players coming to the team, bar the poor squad planning? This is still someone that can make an impact in this team. Like you see the outrage. Where's Nkunku going to play? Where's Neto going to play? Where's Palmer going to play? Right. If you're good enough, you're going to play. And if you're not good enough, you're not going to play. There's still so many games that would be played this season where there's going to be minutes for everyone to be able to get a chance. Like when it comes to Felix, Madrid was still basically standing on that firm, high valuation they put on him. They always wanted to recoup that money. So guess what? They were never going to sell him on the cheap. So that's why most teams wouldn't go in for him. That's why most teams could do was get him on a loan. We did that one before Pochettino came in. We didn't make the deal final because guess what? The coach didn't want him. You have to back the manager you just employed. So if he says, I don't want Felix, you don't get Felix. But now Poch is not here. There's an opportunity to get someone like a Felix on whatever, price tag it was going to be. Again, as per Fabrizio, was never going to be 50 plus 10 million euros. It's going to be much less than that. So just take the Gallagher deal aside, and you're just evaluating Felix on a personal, individual level. You have to ask yourself, what is it going to bring to this team? I think Felix, when he played for Barcelona last season, had about potentially like 14 goals and maybe 7 or 6 assists. That's about 20 goals and assists in a season for a winger stroke number 10, false nine, whatever you want to call it. Like when he played for us when he was here the last time, he honestly was the best player we had. So I just don't understand why it's going to be where is he going to play? Where is this person going to play? Look, that's not your job to figure out. It ain't my job to figure out. That's the manager's job to figure out. He is the one who's come in. He's the one who is in that position to make all these decisions. There's going to be times we might see, your likes of Palmer not played, Neto not played. Look, this is the manager making the calls at the end of the day. You just have to respect it. It's crazy. Before Maresca came in, it was like, oh, they're going to tell him what to do. He's going to be a yes man. And all of this other, distractive noise. And now Maresca's here saying, you know what? If this player is not in my plans, you're not going to be part of the first team. Maresca himself said he wants about 23 to 24 people and, basically training around the team. Now, you see the graphic that comes out with like 40 or 50 Chelsea players. We all know these guys are not going to be here. We've had this issue before when Graham Porter was here, But again, the squad somehow is always trimmed down. So it ain't even going to be like all these guys are still going to be here. Tino Andrew, he's not going to be here. Caleb Wiley, he was bought for Strasbourg. But I can understand whenever it's about Chelsea, it's very dramatic. Everybody wants to crush it in. Everybody wants to talk. I'm just going to look at this on an individual level in terms of we've been crying out for options on the left-hand side, okay? We went into the season saying, you know what? Mudryk hasn't really hit the heights. Sterling has really not hit the heights since it's been here. So we definitely need upgrades on that side. What does the management team go do? They get you a Pedro Neto, and then they get you a Joao Felix. And then now the question is, where is this person going to play? Where is that person going to play? How about we just wait, see what, let's just see how this team is really set out. Let's see how the match day squads are being picked. Let's see who the substitutions are. Because you can't really tell me you look at Felix and you think he's a bad player. Like, I'm sorry. This guy has quality that we can use in this team. We've seen what Sterling can do. Okay. We've seen what Mudryk has not done. So why is it that you have someone like Felix come in and it's a problem? Big teams have options on their bench. I really United have right now signed Euro, they signed Delict, Mazarawi, they still have Maguire in the team, Martinez. Someone is going to miss out anyway. When Euro comes back from injury, there's going to be someone on the bench. Are we going to argue who's going to get sold? We know there's going to be options on the bench, and that's why you have depth. If you're trying, here's my thing: 2 years, okay, 2 years in a row. First year we finished 12th. Second year we finished 6th, right? Arguably, you could say, okay, you know what? There's been somewhat of a slight progression, but we didn't even really get into that position until like the last 5 games of the season. So already you're trying to catch up to the people, ahead of you. You're trying to catch up to the likes of your Spurs, Aston Villas. You're trying to go and maintain the level about, like Newcastle, Man United, West Ham. So adding people like I can understand you tell me, yeah, Felix is a good player, but it doesn't make sense. I agree with you. Okay. Problem is, Omarodian was still not a good player anyway. And that was going to be the trade-off to get Connor Gallagher off your books. And it's just look, we've sold people, okay? Chelsea has sold players that had so much more quality that immediately had fit the needs of the team, okay? And they still got rid of them. I don't understand why this is any different. Like it's such, I think people overdo it because it's like, yeah, this is the most interesting topic right now. Like, don't get me wrong. I think what tends to happen is even if I want to criticize this owners, which I have, because I've said, you know what, some of these business dealings we've done make no sense. Signing your Gabriel Max, look, you've signed way too many young players. You've signed 9 goalkeepers. What are we gonna do with 9 goalkeepers? How are you even gonna try to like move these guys on? Slonina, you got Pendes, Jorgensen, Sanchez, Bettinelli. I mean, you have plenty of goalkeepers. That makes no sense. Defense, we only have about 6 defenders. So you know what? That's cool. But you can kind of look at the quality in the defense and say, you know what? We could do a bit better there. We could do with some more seniority and experience. But I'll give you the defense. You go into midfield, you see the options we have. But when you move forward, okay, last year, Jackson really, okay, he really could have gotten us more goals, more assists. But again, he also has his limitations. So when you bring other people into the team, for me, that could be able to carry some of these responsibilities. I'm fine with that. You know, you're trying to move Sterling out of this team. Now that's one person already, being sold. Kanye Chukwuemeka, we're not sure, what his future is going to be because again, we have too many people in midfield, and even when we signed Chukwuemeka, questions were still asked. Why are we signing this kid from Aston Villa for about like 20 mil, like 18 mil? It made no sense. But guess what? Now we've seen his quality, and if Chukwuemeka was going to be sold on, you can expect this guy to make some money. Like, unfortunately, this is where we are now, where teams are they're looking at trying to balance their books. Unfortunately, unless you're talking of like the elite teams, okay, your Real Madrids, they don't have to even do that, but they still sell players on anyway. Like you look at Man United, for them to be able to get Delict, Mazurawi, Euro, they had to move people on. Wan-Bissaka, they had to sell him off. They're trying to get rid of McTominay, but no one is really trying to sign the guy. But teams are gonna have to sell to either balance your books or just get low, get rid of like the dead weight around the squad. So again, for Felix, look, I've always appreciated the guy's skill set. He's one of those people that you pay money to go watch. Okay, we've seen the likes of Eden Hazard wear the jersey, and Hazard always got goals and assists, but it was always mostly about the entertainment. Football is kind of dying right now. Everything is about systems. It's about structure. It's about positions. You want to have people who entertain your fans. Some people go to these games to be excited, to enjoy what's going on. Yes, you want to be, you want to have results with the entertainment, but you still need to be able to you don't want to go watch a game, watch certain players, and it's just dead football. You want to be able to enjoy the game. Felix, your Netos, Palmers, these guys are aesthetically pleasing, and they still have some output. Maybe not so much Felix, but you get my point. This guy has, a skill set that can be utilized in this team. If we're gonna try to take the Conference League seriously, okay, you need to be able to play certain teams on Thursday and on Sunday. The turnover time is pretty short. Okay. So you can have your Mudriks, Maduekes play on Thursday. You can have your Nkunkus, your Palmers, your Netos, these guys play on Sunday. We're still trying to get into Champions League. Okay. So you need to do more work than the guys who are already ahead of you. Aston Villa finished fourth last year, and they still strengthened their team. So if you're trying to overtake Aston Villa, you try to get people like an Osimhen who can get you goals. You want to get rid of Sterling, who hasn't really contributed much, and you want to bring in people like Felix, who can have their moments. Felix is a player that he's special. He's one of those guys. Entertaining, he can be effective. These are the kind of players. If as a big team, you got to have some of these guys in. If the coach has to figure out how he's going to play them, but that ain't my job. That's not your job. We're just here to be entertained. We want to see good football. We want to see good players. We want to see talented people entertaining us. So this whole outrage, it's kind of crazy to me. But again, I'm happy we got the here we go. Honestly, this was it was kind of like a transfer saga that just kept on getting prolonged as the days went by. Like it was one of those things we knew was going to happen. Just figure it out, get it over, get it out the way, and now go get me a striker. As crazy as it sounds, that yes, we've spent over a bill and we don't have a striker. That's just the reality. The squad was built in that way, so you have to address it. And one thing you also have to give this owners, they've made their mistakes. Okay, they have made some mistakes that even us fans can see. I don't go to games because I'm in the UK. I'm in the United States. But most match going fans see these mistakes. They call it out. If they, sometimes you hear that when Bowley's in the stands, people are talking smack to him. You know, they see it, but also they're trying to rectify these issues. Like you bring in someone like a Sterling, and he's on high wages, and he happens to be one of in terms of just leadership, like he makes certain decisions that makes you even question that. So they are trying to rectify these things. They're getting people out who need to. If you don't like it, look, you might not really like how they go about these things, but sometimes you just have to be cutthroat. You just have to let people know, hey, you're not part of the plans. Figure out what you're doing. Simple. Like at the end of the day, it's business. Okay. You're not gonna tell them how to run what they want to run. At the end of the day, that's just how it's gonna be. And then that's it, guys. So again, happy about this. Now I saw the clip of um, Jamie Carragher talking about why players would want to go to Chelsea, and let me see if I can pull this up real quick because I want to hear what he had to say. Share this on the screen. Give me 1 second. But it was just like it just sounded very too political for me. You know. Go ahead. Let's see. Like so, even with this video, right? Like yes, we understand Chelsea are signing players to like 7 year contracts. Okay. If you want to sign a 4 or 5 year contract, cool, whatever. We understand these 7 year contracts were handed out to amortize those fees. So instead of having that much money coming out of, say your account, again, I all of a sudden we're all accountants, we're business people, we're pocket watching. Like I'm someone who does it myself because I'm like, okay, well, they need the money in, but I can understand why. But when it comes to players deciding who they want to play for, where they want to go, players are trying to, like, at the end of the day, this is a business where people are trying to secure their future. They have families to feed, they have families to watch over, they have things they want to do. So, as a player, if and let's not be disingenuous and act like Chelsea have not been one of the successful teams in the last couple of years. A lot of these players now have grown up watching your Chelseas, your Bayern Munichs, your Real Madrids, your Man Uniteds, your Liverpools winning trophies and accolades. Okay, they tell you themselves, I used to watch this player growing up. I used to like this player growing up. So they have seen Chelsea win things before. So now again, Chelsea is one of the biggest teams in England, in the world, internationally. It's recognized. These players are going to go here to secure their future. Like now, if that's the only thing they're doing, cool. But at the end of the day, people have plans. They have families to look over. So if I'm a player and Chelsea's offering me guaranteed money for 7 years, and I still back myself as a player and as a professional, I'm going to join the project. Like you don't know what these, the owners, directors are selling to these guys. These guys come out every day and say, you know what? I saw they told me the project. I see they have some quality players over there. This is something I am interested in and I want to go. What's the problem? Like talking about why would a player want to sign for Chelsea? Because they're one of the biggest teams in the world, one of the biggest teams in England. A lot of these players have seen Chelsea win things. Like I don't understand why when it's just like Chelsea doing these things, it's a problem. Like I get it. Okay. They've signed so many young players. But if we can honestly say some of these players look like, okay, they're going to what you call it. Um, if we can say like some of these players are going to essentially be sold, then we have an understanding that this is what it's going to be. But for him to be saying this, like, why would you go there? Because they want to secure their future and they want to play football. Like it's that simple. Like imagine getting paid so many millions for doing something you enjoy. Whether you get injured or not, you're still seeing a check. Like I'm not saying players are going to Chelsea just because of a check, but you can understand that people still want to get paid. So like this, he was just having too much energy for me. Like it was just too crazy. But let's listen to the rest of this. Where is he going to play, bro? I don't know. That's the manager's job. Like, what? Why are we acting like the manager doesn't have the responsibility of having these guys play where he wants them to be? Like, yes, we can have the argument later that you're playing this player out of position, you're playing that player out of position, but this is the manager's job. This is his bread and butter. There's something called a substitution bench. There's something called options. Like, you can't just have a first 11, 15 people and call it a day. Like, what are you doing? Injuries happen in this game. There's more games being added onto the calendars. Like, why are we acting like having options is so bad? If we can agree that some of these options we have in this team are injury prone anyway, then more so why you would need more cover. Like, we don't know when Nkunku is going to get injured, and we knock on wood, it never happens. Like, we understand and realize some of the players in our team are very injury prone, right? Circumstances, it happens. Okay. So why is it that when you bring in people to potentially cover for these guys we wouldn't have, where's this guy going to play? Where's Felix going to play? Where's Netta going to play? I don't know where the manager asked him to. Like, what are we doing here? When you go to a big team, you have to play and fight for your position. Like what is this? Like you look at again, I like to use Real Madrid because again, right now they are the standard. Okay. And it's gonna take us a minute to reach that standard. But just from a quality standpoint, when they had Cruz, Modric in their pump, they still had Camavinga, Schumanni, Valverde, Jude Bellingham. Bro, they had options. You don't ask these questions about these teams because they're winning, and I get that. But it's like you have to keep the same energy. Where are they going to play? The manager's going to decide where they play. Like this is just, you know what? It's getting old now because it's like there's something called substitutions, having options, people being rested, other people coming in. So this energy for me, it's a little too crazy. But let's go. Yeah. You know what's so annoying about this? Like, because he's not saying anything wrong, right? But it's just the dramatic effect of it. Where is he going to change? Like, bro, what? You just said so yourself. Big teams need quality. I'm sorry. Any player who comes into my team, yeah, and he says, I accept the fact that I'm just going to be a squad player. That is not someone you want to have in your team anyway, because you want to be able to have people who can come in and still maintain the standard. Like, yeah, our standard right now is all the way down here. But if you're in the same breath, if you're trying to elevate and you're trying to level up, then again, you want to bring in better quality to enhance your team. So, where is Joao Felix going to play? Wherever the manager wants him to play. You want to take out that. Where will Enzo play? Listen, if Enzo it does not deserve to be played, don't play there. Okay, If it does not deserve to play, don't play it. If someone else deserves to get ahead of these guys, yo, do that. Like our team right now is so young enough where it's like no one is guaranteed a starting place anyway. Okay. No one is guaranteed that. So it's almost like you come in, you make a statement, you place, you basically come in and you make a stake for that position, you're most likely going to get played. Like Lavia missed all of last season, but he's coming preseason. He's looked good, and guess what? He's one of the first names on the team sheet. That's quality. That's competition. Like you can't tell me that having quality, like now, look, at the end of the day, it all comes down to can the manager get all this to work? If Maresca can get these guys to work, then you can say, okay, you know what? This is where you finished last year. This is where you're trying to go. This is what you can improve. Adding people like a Pedro Neto, a Joao Felix, and a Victor Osimhen does not do your chances any badly of trying to get back into the Champions League. That's the goal, right? We've not played Champions League for 2 years. So if you have to add this amount of quality and let go of the ones who have not been delivering, then you just do that. I think it's just a little shameless. And like I get it. Like being able to just Chelsea are messing up the market. Chelsea are just it don't matter. The coach has to decide who's going to play. If Malo Gusto, okay, is performing better than Reece James, he has to play. Now, there's always going to be favorites that we have. There's just always going to be certain players that when they're fit, you always play them. James is our captain. So guess what? Even when he's fit and Gusto's having a good, a run, James is most likely going to come in. But that's what competition do. You know that when James ain't available, Gusto can deputize easily. Like 2 years ago, we would have been panicking when James was injured because we had nobody. Aspie couldn't play the role. Chalaba couldn't play the role. But now you have a Gusto. You're relaxed. James is out. Gusto can come in. The level is still up there. Like we've been in a bad position for the last 2 years. So I can understand why the ownership team is probably looking at this and going, you know what, we've made some mistakes, but we're trying to correct it. We've spent so much money buying certain players that, you know what, we might have not had a plan for. So now we're trying to get rid of them. Now the argument is, well, why are you getting rid of them? Why did you buy them? It's okay to make a mistake and it's okay to rectify that mistake. So just this, it's too dramatic for me. Where are they going to play? If you're not good enough, guess what? You get left out of the team. It's really that simple. Again, my thing is this. If you're good enough, you play. It's that simple. I'm not going to be mad at the fact that my team is adding quality. Okay. Yes, you can say, you know what, you have too many bodies in that position. I get it. But the bodies don't really do much. When people say the best ability is availability, I don't believe that. I think when you have ability, you have ability. I'll rather someone who's barely available for 38 games a season, but I know if they're available for 20 out of them 20 games, they're winning me points. You can be as available as you are. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And I wouldn't want you in my team because you're just taking space. There's certain people that you only have them for a certain amount of time, but the impact they have is big. So look, I can agree. The squad planning has not been the best. It looks like it's just everything has just been thrown out there. You throw something at the wall, whatever sticks, sticks. When you do this, you're always going to have a bit of quality that comes out, right? But when it comes to the Felix situation in isolation, I'm not mad at that. Okay, look, as long as he can come in, have an impact, move us up the table, win us some points, I'm cool. Now, if he comes in and he is goddamn awful, then I'm going to be like, all right, yo, you know what? This was pointless. If this is how bad he's going to be, he shouldn't have come in here. But that's hindsight. Right now, you can't really tell if it's going to be a success or not. Felix can come in right now, get 10 goals, 10 assists, get the match winner against Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool. I don't know. pushes into top four, then what's the energy going to be like? You really can't know. But all I know is with quality like this, I'm taking him in my team. But in other news, Spurs today played Leicester City. Um, they looked good. I think for the most of the first half, Spurs looked like it was about it was just about a mere matter of time before they had one goal, two goals, and then they would just kept piling the pressure. The assist from Madison, great cross in. Pedro Porro, he's been on fire. That's about 4 goals and 7 assists in his last couple of games. So he's coming in on form. Um, and Madison looks like he's ready for the new season. Spurs look good, but once the second half started and Leicester got into the game, you can see that this was an actual game. Leicester were piling the pressure. They were now the fans, yeah, and that's one thing. Clearly, our fans have not been on it because you look at Leicester City, their fans, even though they're one goal down against Spurs and they're probably expecting to lose. They never gave up on their team. They kept egging these guys on, cheering these guys. They got the confidence from their fans. However, for our fans, they're booing, they're singing crazy songs. It's like, how do you expect these players to be their best when their home fans are not even supporting them? Like as good as you can be when you're not feeling the support and the love from the people you're trying to entertain. Listen, that morale goes down. Okay, Leicester City in this game, even though they were one goal down, the fans kept on it. They got that equalizer, and they looked like the team who was about to actually. When I was watching that game, I felt like the next goal was probably going to be a Leicester City goal. That's how much better they improved in the second half. Jamie Vardy doing Vardy things again, back in the Premier League, back on the score sheet. Um, and you know what? I know for a fact this season is going to be very entertaining because it's going to be so unpredictable. When United played Fulham, United could have really drawn that game. Like these small teams, so-called small teams, they always give you a good game. Your Ipswich Town against Liverpool. They also looked good. Again, Liverpool was always going to win that game because their quality is just it shines through. Mohamed Salah is going to be effective. Jota, when he plays, is most likely going to get you a goal. You look at Man United. Xerxes came in, game's about to be done. He gets that important goal. Arsenal, they took care of business. 2-0 against Wolves, easy, But for us, these are the teams we're trying. Not so your Arsenals and your Man Cities because these two teams right now are on a different level. So we can only aspire to be better than the teams ahead of us. But all these other teams, they have that quality in their team. Even they might not be having a good game, but guess what? Saka is going to win you a game on his own. Havertz is going to score you a goal. Xerxes, the expectation is he's going to get United goals. He's going to win United points. Quality always shines through. Like when we played against Man City and we made all these changes, nothing looked like it was working. Neto came in, showed some quality, but again, nothing really looked like it was clicking. We really couldn't get a Man City like that. Now you add an Osimhen and a Joao Felix to this team. You losing a game like that to Man City, you could throw these options on. You could probably get a point. You might not get a point. You could lose, but at least you're trying to make sure that you know what you're there competing and you're doing what you need to do. But again, I just think people have been blowing this out of proportion, and it's unfortunate because like even though you might try to be objective, right? Even though you might try to be objective, it's like you always are in a position where you have to defend your team. Like you can call it out as it is, but then it's just sometimes it's not even a conversation. It's not even a conversation that is trying to be had. It's just we have to just say whatever we need to do. So look, at the end of the day, it's match week one. I'm not even worried about our season. Yeah, I saw a lot of things I liked from the Man City game. Honestly, I think we could have did a lot of things better, but this is where it begins. Your first game of the season, you've got Man City out of the way. So now you could just try and get results in your other game, and then see how well you can do. my prediction for the season still stands. It still stands. I still hope, and I feel like we're going to finish fourth, because I think when you just look, we've said this for the last 2 years. On paper, the team looks great. Okay, it's about what happens on the pitch. We have a new manager. We have a new system. It's a lot of new variables to this team that we're trying to create right now. All I could do is be patient, give it time. If it ain't working, we talk about it. That's what we do as fans. Look, Maresca has a 5-year contract, but if 10 games into the season we only have like 5-6 points, you're going to hear us fans talk about it because it's not good enough. Like at the end of the day, we're not just gonna blindly be like, yeah, you know what, I understand it's gonna take some time. No, 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 no. If you're trying to establish a style of play and a system, you still got to get points at the end of the day. You have too much quality in this team that has been added, that was added for you to only have 5 points in 10 games. Yo, that's like out of 30 possible points, you only have 5. You have look. I'm sorry. As patient as I might try to be, I'm a fan. At the end of the day, I want to see my team win. I want to see my team perform. Having 1 point, 5 points, what look, 10 games in, I want to see something like a balance. Maybe 5-6 wins, a few draws, a few losses. I can accept that out of 10 games. If you win half of those games, okay, let's just say you win, I don't know, you win 5 out of the 10, you lose 3, and you draw 2. I can live with that. You know what I mean? I can live with that because that's what it's about 17 points out of 30. Not the best, but you know what? You can hang on to something. You've already won over half of your games. The other ones have been draws. I can live with that. But if 10 games comes through and we've only won 2 or 3, yeah, and as patient as I could try to be, nah, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. We're trying to do better than we did last year. If we were 6, okay, I'm trying to see us improve. And if there's some nonsense, we're gonna call it out. But there's also gonna be times when you know what, we have to support the team that we like, whether you like it or not. Like I know you want to just be you want to have your agendas and whatnot, but look, you can stick to the football sometimes. If it makes sense, let's have a conversation. But if it's just gonna be a pointless situation, then let's not even waste time. If you cannot be objective, then what are we doing here? Like you have to give me the grace to be able to say, you know what? Let's say I was 12th, 6th, 5th, and then 3rd. Like you have to give me the space to be able to like improve. But you can't say, well, you didn't do well, and then we were 12th, 6th, and then you still want to be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you guys are gonna go back to 8th. Like, look, we've made mistakes. They're trying to rectify this mistake. The season just started. There's no time to panic. When it's panic stations, you guys will see it and you will know. But you know what? I've already made this video a bit too long, so I'm going to end it here. But guys, if this is your first time coming across my content, okay, and you like what I'm saying, even if you agree or disagree, sub to the channel, like the video, share it, support the channel grow. Look, this season is going to be entertaining. I see so many ups and downs, and I'm going to be here trying to cover them. Um, I think there's going to be a few surprises that we're not even aware of. But listen, Chelsea, we need to do better. We we listen. We need to do better. Okay, we need to be back in the Champions League. Because guess what? When we're in the Champions League, we perform. You're not going to see us being bottom of the league. I mean, bottom of the group table. We don't do that. Okay, we might be 3rd and sent to like Europa League, and we're gonna go and win it. But like bottom of that, we don't do that. We need to come back into Europe and bring that entertainment back. But people, like I said, you enjoy the content, definitely support the channel, like the video. Hop in the comments, let me know what you agree with, whatever you disagree with, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.